So I found this in the wild, actually. Bill Maher had Kevin Nealon on, which, by the way, I love Kevin Nealon. I think he's fucking hilarious. But they're talking about Howard Stern, and this is some stuff. Now, Mersh brought something up. Bill Maher was on Howard Stern a lot. Like, he was some great bits. He was on with Howard Stern, too.
Yeah, he did the talk show where they were asking everybody questions, but they had, like, Daniel Carver from the KKK, and they had, like, Beetlejuice.
Bro, that was so good.
And they had, like, Bill Maher looked like, really like, Jesus, this fucking guy. Even back then, he was like disgusted with him.
And it's when they were called the retards, not the whack pack either.
And dude, you got to talk about this. Used to go out on E. Like, you got to remember, this was a different time, right? Yeah, he couldn't curse as much on TV and stuff. But like the E network would air the uncut Daniel Carver, where they'd be like, "So, what do you think? Daniel, tell Bill Maher about some of your like why you think the country's going to shit." Well, I mean, because you got these Jews and these and what they're doing out here, and it's like he would just say it all, Matt, and you could just see Bill Maher like this, like, "Oh, well, okay then." Like it was genuine revulsion, bro. You're never gonna get that kind of shit ever again.
Howard Stern.
Oh wow!
And I always avoided Stern because I knew he put people on the spot, and he makes you kind of badmouth other people. But for some reason, I started listening to his interviews. He got a lot better and not doing that. But I went on there prepared for anything, and he came out and he was so nice. He was so nice to me.
I have a long, storied history, ups and downs with that man, and it's just, I find it so sad these days that I can't see him because of the pandemic, and I know we don't agree on that. Not that I think has made us not like each other, because we didn't have a good relationship for a very long time, very bitter.
Why? What happened? And he's right. And Bill's got a good point. Bill's like, I can't even see you now because if you go to the Howard Stern show now, and some people know this, some people don't, but we've said it a couple times. Howard Stern, when you just like saw Bob Odenkirk on there, we played a clip of Bob Odenkirk was on there recently. He is in New York in Howard Stern's studio, the multi-million-dollar Sirius studio, but he's talking to a monitor with Howard's face on it. Howard had his Palm Beach home studio turned to look exactly like the studio.
And then he makes everyone else still come in, though.
Except if you look at the tile floor. It's different flooring. And unless you're the fucking autist and you're paying, and I did, look at the flooring, it's different flooring. So, and of course, they're told, the celebrities are told not to mention that Howard's in a different studio. That's what he's doing.
I don't want to talk to a fucking TV. That's weird. But he still makes everyone else come in, right? Like everyone else is still.
Everyone has to go into his studio in New York. Like they can't Skype in. Like Bob Odenkirk couldn't Skype in, for example.
And this is his house in the Hamptons or in Florida?
In Palm Beach.
In Florida. So he's just in Florida now?
Yeah. 99%.
You think he got that idea from Space Ghost?
I know. From my understanding, I don't think Howard has left Florida since the beginning of the pandemic.
That makes no sense to me, because if he's so terrified of this fucking pandemic, then why did he stay in the state where, everybody's a dirty motherfucker?
Because they let him build a studio in his fucking house.
And then, boy, it all changed, and it just shows there's some great things about age and getting older and wiser and mellower and smarter, and we became such good friends again. It's almost like a romantic story, like, Bogey, and then they met in Casablanca, and it was going to be good again. And then the war came, and in this case, the pandemic came, and I don't think I'll ever see him again, because I don't think he'll ever leave the house.
And look, Bill Maher, I blame him a lot for a lot of stuff, but the one thing I've always, even before, the one thing I've always given Bill Maher credit is for two things. He can be very funny. I don't care what your political leanings are, you can be very funny, and Bill Maher will be stubborn even if people don't agree with him. I give him credit for that, you know, because he's still been like, this pandemic stuff. Remember when they tried to rip him apart? Because he says, look, I got vaccinated. I took him for the team. I didn't even want to. Remember they tried to rip him apart for that?
Because he's, he's very, very...
Yeah, he's alt-right. He gets called alt-right like once a month, and it's the funniest shit ever.
Bill Maher, bro. He's a lefty.
Look, I don't want to judge it, but he's scared of germs. Come on, I mean, he's people have.
I mean, so's Howie Mandel, but that guy still leaves his home.
Not only that, Howie Mandel has a
new podcast. Yeah,
with people come into his studio in front of him.
Dude, he's been shaking hands and
He's been shaking hands and stuff too. Because Howie's been the opposite. Howie's always wanted to get better.
I always wondered, because he has always said that he's like tried to work on it.
He says, he said, I really try.
About that, and they're allowed. I don't agree with.
Look, it's at least he went from like he would only fist bump people to now Howie Mandel will shake their hands. He will still fucking squirt a little fucking sanitizer on it. But hey, you know what? he's fucking trying.
But that's to
I'll
me.
give him that.
I wouldn't take that from somebody if it makes you feel better.
That's fine.
It's just be normal. Try to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Be social.
And that's
but
it.
yeah, I don't care if I'm not going to be insulted if you use
Yeah.
hand sanitizer. I'm like, all right, whatever. I know my hands are clean, but I don't care. Do whatever you want.
Some things he said about the pandemic, I think, were very.
To me, if I shake your hand and then you immediately use hand sanitizer, that's like me handing you cash and you counting it.
Yeah.
I don't take it as an insult. You're just verifying.
Yeah.
Wrong, we shouldn't treat people who don't get vaccinated, stuff like that.
You
that
have always been controversial
and-
with things. I remember, didn't you say something about recycling that it wasn't good? Didn't you? Did
No.
you? Yes, you
No,
did.
I did.
Let's
Well,
play
I
the
don't.
tape.
If I did,
Let's take a look.
No, but I
You did. And I think you say those things just to get ruffle feathers and get a conversation
I've
going.
never ever.
You never did that?
Never ever once in my life. Well, I mean, on television anyway, said anything I don't believe just to be controversial. No.
Okay.
And I think when you look at what I've said, it doesn't.
Even Kevin Nealon, you saw them doing it, was like, you don't even really believe that stuff, though, right? You're seeing it to be.
You're still on the team,
He's like,
right?
no, I fucking do believe it, though. Like, I'm sorry this pisses you off.